well on your way to, let me restart because we just restarted on Facebook. Welcome in. Hope all of you have fantastic Fridays. I encourage all of you to go sign up for the Outkick VIP. If you sign up for the Outkick VIP, you get access to a direct VIP phone line, can comment on articles, message boards every weekend. You get the right to hang out in Zooms with myself and with Jason Whitlock. If you do so, you will be glad that you did. It's a great value, and you get an incredible autographed copy of my book. We are signing thousands of these. Yes, I am signing them all myself. We had to go back to the publisher and get more. A lot to get to. But I want to start off by saying I just finished a incredible podcast, Wins and Losses podcast with @Ovik. @AVIK is his Twitter handle. Brilliant guy. Went to MIT, went to Yale Medical School. Everything you could possibly want to know about the coronavirus. I'm telling you, 2 hours. I just spent 2 hours with him. It is the most intelligent conversation you will find anywhere, almost anywhere in media, certainly anywhere in sports media. @AVIK, go follow him on Twitter. Go download the Wins and Losses podcast if you haven't already. You are going to absolutely love it. It is going to be really worth listening to. I think you guys are all going to learn a lot. The Big Ten remains a disaster. This morning there was a Big Ten parent protest. Last night the parents at the University of Nebraska wrote a letter to the Big Ten planning on filing a lawsuit. I encourage the filing of all lawsuits. I think there is a lot that needs to be explained here. In particular, what are the bylaws of the Big Ten Conference, and were they followed according to the letter of the law by the voting process under which everything was shut down with college football and with fall sports? I want to know how all these university presidents making millions of dollars in taxpayer funds voted on whether or not to shut down school. And I also think, by the way, idiots like this deserve to get blocked. 10 people showed up to the protest. It was a protest of parents that had to travel to Chicago and had to be there physically present in order to tell the story of why their sons and daughters deserve to play fall sports. And on top of that, the Big Ten commissioner is in Minnesota. He's not even willing to talk to any of these individuals, all right? I think they have a legitimately strong lawsuit capability here. First of all, I question whether this vote on canceling the college football season violated state sunshine laws. These are state employees at state institutions funded by taxpayers. Did these chancellors and presidents violate their obligations under state law by not actually allowing any current vote to be taken in a public setting? I think there's possibility of a very legitimate lawsuit based on that. Also, I believe many players have the right to seek an injunction requiring the season to be followed, okay? Because they have a substantial property interest in being able to play. And a guy like Justin Fields, to me, could easily file a lawsuit demanding an injunction to allow the Big Ten season to take place. Because the logic at play here doesn't follow. If you're allowing tens of thousands of people on campus, how in the world can you say it's not safe to play college football? And I believe, remember, you can get free legal representation from the best lawyers in the country. A lot of lawyers listen to this. A lot of lawyers watch this. If I were a lawyer in Ohio, I'd be trying to file a lawsuit on Justin Fields' behalf. If I were a lawyer in Penn State, I'd be trying to file a lawsuit on the Nittany Lions' behalf. If I were a lawyer in Michigan or Iowa or Nebraska, I want a lawsuit filed here. I want the Big Ten presidents and chancellors to have to answer questions under oath. I want Kevin Warren to have to answer questions under oath. This is an unmitigated disaster for the Big Ten, and I believe that there are fertile grounds for a lawsuit on behalf of players, on behalf of schools, on behalf of many different communities out there, particularly because these athletic departments are falling apart. And they're falling apart because they're having to shut down all these different sports. Iowa just announced today that they have major issues with having to shut down athletic department sports. They're shutting down men's and women's swimming. They're shutting down tennis, men's tennis, and a couple of other sports because the budget is collapsing without football this year. This is going to happen everywhere, and there are going to be many scholarship athletes bearing the brunt of this cost. There is a lot going on here. This is an unmitigated disaster. Kevin Warren won't meet with the parents who are asking for their sons and daughters to have the same opportunity that his son does. His son can play at Mississippi State and make the choice to play. That's the exact same decision that Kevin Warren, the commissioner of the Big Ten, is not allowing others to actually be able to make. And so if it's good enough for Kevin Warren's son, the Big Ten commissioner, how is it not good enough for everybody else out there? This is a story that should be top of mind. The fact that 13 out of the 14 school presidents are state employees, all of this is a mess beyond a shadow of a doubt. Kevin Warren, according to you guys, 90% of you think he needs to be fired. And some of you can say, well, it's not Kevin Warren. He's just a stand-in for the presidents. Jeff Snook told us today on the radio program, I'd encourage you to go listen to it, that Kevin Warren has been driving the bus on canceling fall sports and that he's been trying to persuade the university presidents to vote against it. So I got to tell you, this is a failure of unprecedented scale for Kevin Warren, the Big Ten, and the Big Ten commissioners, and this needs to be discussed in a large-scale process. Maybe it's going to have to be under penalty of perjury with depositions and testimony taking place, okay? This spring season is not happening. It's a lie. Anybody out there who believes it is an imbecile. If it's not safe to play in October, November, and December, then it's outdoors. Then it's certainly not going to be safe to play indoors in January. We have new Big Ten commissioner shirts. For me, you know the world has gone upside down when most Big Ten fans would rather me be commissioner than they would anybody else in the entirety of this process. I feel bad for Big Ten fans. I feel bad for Big Ten players. I feel bad for Big Ten parents and coaches. I never would have believed this was ever going to happen. And so Clay Kyle is stepping in and blocking Corona Bros. Corona Bros are losing the battle every single day as normalcy returns. I encourage you to go listen to my podcast on wins and losses, back up and running and ready to roll, okay? Encourage you. I think there's a lot going on there. LeBron is an idiot when he talks about pretty much anything other than basketball. LeBron defended Goodyear, which President Trump has ripped because Goodyear has inconsistent statements about which politics are allowed to be endorsed and which are not allowed to be endorsed. And LeBron said this, which anybody who was advising LeBron would have said, dude, don't say that. Remember what you've said about China. LeBron said, we don't bend, fold, or break for nobody. All right, let's cancel out the double negative, which actually probably means it's a truth, right? But LeBron said, we don't bend, fold, or break for nobody. Dude, you bent the knee to China. You were unwilling to stand up for basic human rights in China. You came back to America and criticized the First Amendment and Daryl Morey for supporting democracy. This is LeBron James, hypocrite extraordinaire, and this is what happens every time LeBron James opens his mouth. He shuts up and dribbles for China and rips American institutions to the high heavens time after time after time. Jason Whitlock's got a great column up about LeBron. LeBron is claiming to be reading books. He's getting pictures taken, shirtless, reading books. this is just, LeBron James is a good basketball player. He is the biggest fraud in the history of American sports in my life. I really believe that when it comes to speaking out about anything other than basketball-related issues. Now, let me just say this, okay? LeBron's legacy is going to be that he destroyed the NBA in the United States of America. The ratings for the NBA are collapsing in LeBron James's NBA. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird did everything they could to build up the NBA into a national force. Michael Jordan then took the NBA to heights you have never seen before. Since Michael Jordan retired, the NBA has been on a consistent downslope, and LeBron James is destroying it even further because the young players have taken his lead and decided to be woke with all these vapid, not in any way supported by factual data, woke comments. And this is an unmitigated disaster for the NBA, whose ratings are collapsing in the playoffs, whose players have gone woke, and they are alienating a huge percentage of the audience that loved Magic and Larry and loved Michael Jordan. There is a reason why so far the Michael Jordan documentary has had twice as many viewers as any NBA playoff game so far. Let me repeat that. The Michael Jordan documentary about the 1990s era Bulls has more viewers, twice as many, as any NBA playoff game so far. That is a wild and unbelievable stat. More people would rather watch old videos of Michael Jordan playing basketball in the 1990s than would rather watch current NBA playoff games. Now, as the playoffs move forward, more people will probably eventually end up watching the NBA playoffs over the Jordan documentary, but I want you to think about that for a minute. Twice as many people watched an average Michael Jordan documentary as are watching the NBA playoffs so far this season. That is flat out unbelievable. All right? And everybody knows this. I went out to dinner with Jason Whitlock yesterday. We were having this conversation. Adam Silver knows that having Black Lives Matter written on the basketball court and having social justice warrior statements on his jersey and having the players kneel for the anthem is devastating to the overall NBA brand. He's not willing to say it because he's worried if he says it, he'll get called racist and lose his job. This is the universe that we have created. People make awful decisions for their companies or their leagues or their businesses, not because it's in the best interest of those businesses to be uber woke, but because they are so afraid of getting fired that they're not making the best decision. This is explaining the charge of the woke brigade across the entire universe of the NBA. And across the entire universe of sports, they're all getting woke and they're all getting broke. And everybody is afraid to point out how dumb these decisions are because they're afraid if they're a white guy and they say it, they're going to lose their job and they're going to get branded as a racist. And the same thing is happening in sports media. And I got to be honest with you. I hate to see it happening in sports, but the biggest beneficiary of it is Outkick. Because all these loser woke people are competing for the same 20 or 25% of the uber woke in that community. And in so doing, they are leaving behind the 75 or 80% of normal sports fans. And do you know who is covering for those guys? Who's feeding them? Who's their go-to source for sports? Outkick. That's why next year we're going to be a $100 million business. I don't know what our ceiling is, but I know it's way above $100 million, and that's why we are rolling, and that's why we are kicking a lot of tail all over this entire country. So I appreciate all of you. I got to go pick up my youngest son at kindergarten, and I can't wait to do so, and it is going to be a lot of fun this weekend because we are going out right now, today, to a movie theater A real live movie theater is open, and we are going, my family, all three of my boys, my wife, we are all going to go watch The Empire Strikes Back in a movie theater. I can't wait to do it. Live your life. Go out to restaurants. Go shopping. Go to your kids' schools. Go to sporting events. I am rolling because I am excited to be living my life, not in fear, but doing everything that I believe is important, which is looking at the data and making rational decisions. I love all of you. My name is Clay Travis. This is Outkick the show. Appreciate all of you. You are listening to the most rapidly growing sports media company in the entire nation. We are destroying everybody out there. Corona Bros going up in flames. We got our Corona Bros t-shirts. Go sign up for the Outkick VIP. I appreciate all of you. DBAP, unless you need to SBAP. My name is Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the show. Go listen to that podcast and wins and losses. I guarantee you, and you're going to absolutely love it. Talk to you guys. Got to go pick up my kid at kindergarten. Kisses, DBAP, unless you need to SBAP. Have fantastic weekends. I'll see you soon. Bye. Love you. Thank you, Facebook. Kisses. See y'all.